Welcome to Secretly Sporty. I am your host, Sebastian Langdell, and I'm joined here with my co-creator, Austin Rackless. How's it going, Austin?
It's good, Sebastian. How's it going for you?
I sprained one of my toes the other day, and I went to the doctor, and she's like, honestly, at the part of the toe where it's sprained, the only solution is really like a buddy taping, which was a new phrase for me. Have you heard of this?
No, but I like to think of every intro as a buddy taping.
Every intro is a buddy taping. In this kind of medical sense, when your toe is, say, broken or sprained, it's when you just tape it to its nearest neighbor, to its buddy.
Aww.
Every Rest Day Radio is also a buddy taping. They're usually with people that one of us has known for a longer amount of time, and that's definitely the case today.
Yes, we interviewed Maya Lau, host of the podcast Other People's Pockets, and you went to college with her.
That's right. We both went to Vassar College. She's a journalist that's written for venues like the LA Times. She currently resides in Mexico City. We talked especially about how she uses dance as exercise.
Yeah, I mean, she talked about how she danced on a pretty high level since she was like 9 years old. It's fascinating for me as a person who very much does not dance.
Yeah.
And one of the things I really like about Rest Day Radio is that because you've known these people a little bit longer, they sort of feel comfortable turning some questions around on you. And the hot seat is a little extreme.
A warm seat.
A warm seat.
Yeah.
She had some interesting questions for you that you had to think about.
You can tell she's a podcast host too.
Yeah. And on that note, a past guest of ours, Brendan Bradley, pointed out that you, Sebastian, have never had to answer the lightning round questions.
This is true.
And I feel that it is my producerial duty to ask you the lightning round questions.
Okay, let's do it.
First question, cardio or strength training?
Cardio, because it does have that kind of mental health component for me, and weightlifting doesn't really do that for me.
And we've touched on this in some intros, but I'm curious about what your answer is today. Greek yogurt or cottage cheese?
I'm gonna go Greek yogurt. Yeah.
How about swim in the ocean or swim in a pool?
Ocean for sure.
And you don't have to worry about this because you're a nice guy, but hypothetically, what exercise would you have to do in hell?
I think maybe it was Jamel Bowie who said a plank, like, held forever. And I think duration is the thing that kind of gives me hell vibes, you know, like the foreverness of something like a plank, or I'm going to say a side plank. If you're doing that in a hot space for a very long time, that does sound pretty hellish.
And on the other side of the coin, what about heaven?
When I think about exercise in heaven, it's like swimming in like a Hawaiian waterfall with just all the people I love most.
Work out first or create first?
You know what's funny is this changes day to day based on schedules, but I think my usual rhythm is to work out first. But sometimes I just wake up and the ideas are ready to go, and I need to use that energy.
I like that. I like that go with the flow, go with the energy, rather than a rigid schedule.
Yeah.
Now here is a bespoke lightning round question for you that we do not ask our guests. Would you rather have a #1 podcast or run a sub 3-hour marathon?
Oh, podcast.
Nice. Yes. All right. Well, thank you, Sebastian. It was a pleasure.
Can I ask you a couple?
Absolutely. Yeah, let's do it.
Swim in the ocean or swim in a pool?
Ocean 100%, but I should clarify that my definition of swimming is more like play in the water.
A splash in the ocean. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Peanut butter on a date or banana?
No, date all the way.
What exercise are you doing in hell?
Burpees.
Yeah, okay. Heaven?
I mean, does tennis count?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Where is the tennis court? Like, what's the vibe?
Actually, where I play a lot is pretty close to my ideal. It's in Arcadia, California, which is right in the foothills of the San Gabriel Mountains. And it is that classic California where you have mountains in the background and then palm trees in the foreground. And it's especially beautiful in the winter when the mountains are covered with snow.
You're saying you've already found heaven.
I found it. It's Arcadia Tennis Center.
Would you rather meet your artistic hero or your athletic hero?
That is a legitimately hard question.
Yeah, it's the stumper.
It is. I guess I actually would say artistic hero because I don't want to live in fear of disappointment, right? Like, I feel like that's the reason to not meet your artistic hero, and I don't want to live in fear.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. For me, I gotta say, this might sound like a sellout, but just meeting the people, the guests we've had on the show so far is my favorite, which is just that perfect blend of artistic and athletic hero.
Okay, you
And
win.
getting to
You
talk
win
to
for
so many of
best
them.
answer.
It's a rally,
Aw.
you know.
And today we have another guest, another option for an artistic and athletic hero. Shall we get into it?
Let's get into it. Here is Maya Lau on Rest Day Radio. All right, Maya, it is great to have you here today. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you for asking me.
We like to start by asking about your most recent workout. So, what was it, when was it, and how did it go?
Today's Friday. My most recent workout was actually on Monday. I've been a little under the weather this week. It was a salsa class. I actually hadn't done salsa in several months. I was doing bachata and cumbia, so it was definitely challenging for my brain, but it was good.
Nice. What's your ideal kind of week look like for exercise then? Do you try to dance a couple times a week or once a week?
So I have my ideal and then I have what actually ends up happening. My ideal is that I weightlift Monday, Wednesday, Friday,
Mm-hmm.
and then I have a dance class once a week. And then maybe somewhere in there, there's just dance in real life or something. My dance teacher is always like, "Oh, so did you go out dancing this weekend?" And I'm always like, "No, why do you ask?" Like, like you don't understand who you're dealing with. He's a lot younger. He doesn't have kids, so I think our lives are very different. But it is my goal to do even more of it.
It's a form of exercise where you're kind of training. Maybe training's not the right word, but it's some people might see the class as the prelude to the real thing, right? Like the real going out dancing.
Yeah, and it's interesting because for me, dance is really the main exercise that I've done throughout my life. I went to performing arts school from the age of around 9. There was no sports at the school. You could only take dance or martial arts. So that's just kind of my reference point for movement and exercise is always that it's fun and
Mm.
there's music and it's also a form of art and it's kind of not anything based on rote movement or repetitive movement. We were actually told to not run.
Mm.
It's really bad on your knees and you're already doing so many jumps in dance that I don't know if this is empirically proven, but just sort of anecdotally, I remember my dance teachers were always like, when we have runners in the dance class, they have too many knee problems.
Did your weight routine evolve as something that would help your dancing, like support your dancing?
No, not really. The weightlifting was just something that I really started doing after becoming a mom. I had my daughter in late 2019, and then it was COVID, and I was trying to get back in shape. So around 2020, 2021, I started to do more working out and really learned about how weightlifting is the number one way to boost your longevity, and it's kind of a foundation for other things.
Mhm.
Putting the social dance with it actually came later when I knew that I had to have cardio as part of my routine too, but I don't like running. I would love to love running. I've tried it. I've tried to become a runner. It's just never really clicked for me. I
Mhm.
don't like anything that just feels repetitive. And I know
Right.
that for some people that's meditative, they like it. For me, it feels boring, like to swim laps back and forth.
Yeah.
So I just was like, I'm just not going to be a person that does cardio at the gym. I'm going to do dance.
We end up going to quite a lot of dance in terms of just like dance performances that come through Austin. And I have to say, when I'm watching a professional dance performance, I'm watching it being blown away by the athleticism of it.
Yeah, I think that it's interesting also how the different ways that you choose to work out can make your muscles be shaped completely differently, even if they're
Mm.
just as strong as another person. So ballet tends to make your muscles really long and lean. Professional ballet dancers want that look. Like they tend to look skinny, but they're
Mm-hmm.
just as strong as someone else who maybe does, I don't know, a different kind of sport or even weightlifting. But the way that they're training, it doesn't just like bulk up, like kind of create bulky muscles. And all of that is intentional. And it's just really interesting, like different sports create different bodies.
Can you take us through the phases of dance that you focused on over the years?
Yeah, I think when I was really young, around age 10, it was ballet, modern, and jazz.
Mm-hmm.
And I was also in musicals. And so I was dancing in, usually in the chorus. But I loved that. I love being a backup dancer. That's actually kind of my life goal, which I'll probably never get to, is being some kind of backup dancer. I did a lot of that. And then actually when I was at Vassar, where I met you, I was in the dance company there. And that became more, I guess we would call contemporary dance.
Mm-hmm.
I still did ballet, but I didn't do tap anymore. And then once I graduated college, I actually stopped dancing because I had been doing it so much and I was tired. I had been, between dance class and the company at Vassar, I was dancing like, at one point I counted like 30 hours a week or something. I think that was also during rehearsal times, but it was
That's
a
a
lot.
lot.
And I was so excited to just live my own life and not have so many obligations. So I didn't dance for many years. And then I kind of came back to ballet, but whenever I would come back to ballet as an older person, it was very hard and I would get not seriously injured, but I would kind of twist something or it didn't feel like it used to. And it felt like if I keep doing this, I'm probably going to have an injury. And so I was actually, fast forward to being, late 30s, I was taking a ballet class here in Mexico City and I had the same experience. And I just thought like, I don't need this. I don't need an injury that's from some side activity that I do.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to learn salsa and other kinds of social dance. And I had never been good at that. I had never seen it as my strong suit. The concept of following another person and intuiting what you're supposed to do based on what seemed to me at the time like very subtle hand movements was so challenging. But I just felt like, yeah, this is fun. And it was so much easier on my body. And it still was a cardio workout. So that's what I've been doing the past few years. I've been doing bachata, salsa, and cumbia.
You mentioned that it's a dream of yours to be a backup dancer. In your ideal vision of this, who would it be for?
I saw this thing about this mother-daughter duo that they both got tapped to perform for Bad Bunny at the Super Bowl halftime show. And so the mom was one of the more traditional backup dancers, and she's a professional dancer. She has a dance studio. And then the daughter, who was maybe 8, was one of the little girls at the wedding. And I was like, oh my gosh, that would be amazing because my daughter is a dancer too. And
oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, anything like that. Any kind of music video. I don't think that these are still a thing anymore, but I would love to be part of a flash mob.
If you ever want to fly to Austin at Halloween, my block does Halloween like very seriously, and I organize a flash mob dance for Thriller.
Yes, I would totally do that.
It's not that far from Mexico City, really.
No, it's not.
Tell me about the decision to move to Mexico City. So when that happened and how you came to that decision.
That was during COVID. So our kid was around 2 at the time we started seriously talking about it in around 2021. My husband and I have both lived outside of the U.S. at different points and really wanted to do it again. We wanted our kid to learn another language. We talked about different locations that would work and eventually settled upon Mexico City because he had colleagues here and I also had some connections here. And the more we looked into it, I had a friend actually also from Vassar who had been living here about a decade, and she just made it really easy for us. She was like, there's a house opening up or like a townhouse opening up in my building. You could send your kids to the same, or your kid to the same school that I send my kids to. It's a 10-minute walk away. And it it was really one of the easiest landings I've ever done in a move. We thought we would try it for a year, and we've been here 3.5 years now.
Amazing. How did your work life change as you moved?
So I had been working at the LA Times. That was the most recent sort of real jobby job that I had, where I had to go into the office. I quit that in 2021 because I wanted to do other things. I was curious about having a business, trying out different skills, not having any one job, but having multiple streams of income. So basically, since that point, I was also kind of trying to put in place a remote strategy for myself. Like that was part of my goal, was not only do I want to start a business, I want to start a business where I could live anywhere.
Do you feel as if there's a way that dance or exercise in general infuses your work on a day-to-day level, or does it serve as kind of stress relief for you or inspiration?
Yeah, I mean, for me, the biggest thing is that I feel like we live in a world of words. And, I'm a writer. I also talk for a living. I have a podcast called Other People's Pockets, where I interview people about their money. And also with, I do speak Spanish, but it's not my native language. And I do still have to think when I'm speaking Spanish. And dance is a form of communication that doesn't have words. I do think moving to Mexico has opened up this world to me. Not that salsa doesn't exist globally, because it does, but it's just more part of the culture here. And somebody actually who's from Colombia, but who was at a party at our house here, was like, yeah, it's so weird that in the US, going to a party is where you stand around with a drink in your hand and talk about work. And I'm like, yeah, that is so weird. He's like, in Colombia, like a party is where you dance and there's live music.
Right.
Like that is a party.
That sounds way better.
And I just completely agree with that so much. I just hate that the way that we socialize is to talk more. I'm like, I've been talking all day.
Right.
I don't want to talk. So for me, dance is just a different way of interacting with someone, or interacting with your environment, or just kind of being like you're doing something. You're just not having to form sentences.
I'm interested in this kind of, cross-cultural party analysis. In the States, I feel like if you turn on the music and you're like, okay, we're going to dance now at a party, it kind of divides the room into the people who are going to be like, I can't dance. And then the people who are like, okay, I'll give it a shot. Is there not the same kind of division when you go to a party in Mexico City? Are people more inclined to just like try and not kind of talk themselves down when it comes to dance?
Yeah, I do think that there's more of an openness to moving your body. I feel like in some ways I grew up in a different culture within the US. And to me, dance is normal.
Yeah.
And I have noticed that with other people. It's kind of seen as like, oh, there's this dance floor like over there. And then there's like where people hang out over here. And I find that really strange. I also realized my husband likes to dance too, but it's more kind of informal. Like he likes to move his body. We do that all the time at home. And our kid dances. And we are always putting on music and being silly. And he said something like that he didn't really do that growing up. Like they didn't just burst out into dance in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Like,
how is that possible?
What did you do? It didn't occur to me that that's not something everyone does.
Yeah.
I think that in Mexico and throughout Latin America, dance is not seen as some niche hobby that if you didn't learn formally, then you don't know how to do. It's seen as natural as just making small talk. I'm not saying that everybody knows how to dance, but people know how to make it work. Like I was out at a big dance hall here, and like some of them are just winging it. I mean, I'm kind of thinking to myself, like, what was the point of going to these dance classes? I mean, out in the real world, like, I don't know what these people are doing. They don't know, but it doesn't matter. It was so fun, So I think there's just more of an openness of like, even if you don't know the steps, you can still dance. One of the things my teacher has said to me, because I've been like, okay, so should I learn salsa or cumbia? And he's like, listen, people will put on a salsa song, but then dance cumbia to it. And it doesn't matter.
Right. Austin's interesting in terms of dance. Like, it was never a place that I expected to kind of like learn about dance and encounter dance. But you do have these dance halls where two-stepping is like the main dance that you learn.
Mm-hmm.
And so we go to places like the White Horse or the Broken Spoke, and neither of us, my wife or I, are very trained as dancers beside the two-stepping lessons that we've taken. But it does just like access something completely different. And yeah, we love it.
Yeah, it just gives you a reference point, and you really just need a few steps to feel like, okay, I could join in, and maybe I'm not perfect, but I have something that I'm doing and not just
Yeah.
standing there.
When you're going to have a family dance party, what are your kind of like go-to songs? What do you put on?
You know, so much is dictated by our daughter who's 6.
Mm-hmm.
So she has her playlists and she becomes very focused on like,
Yeah.
she only likes these songs. And when we try to introduce her to new songs, she can be very closed. But, you know, it's just anything that's fun or pop. I mean, there's been a lot of Shakira lately. There's Bruno Mars. That song, Apate, is, you
Yeah.
know, huge among the youngs.
It's the same with my kids. Those two,
Yeah.
like those two in particular, are like the Shakira songs from the Zootopia soundtrack.
Yeah.
My son in particular is just increasingly really into pop music and like remixes.
Yeah, my daughter used to say that she wanted only songs with a beat drop. And I would be like, all right, you know, because on Spotify you can find, you know, like the most
Right.
fire beat drop songs. And so I
Yeah.
put something on for her and she'd be like, the beat didn't drop for me.
I feel like that's an interesting cultural development, is they're maybe developing a more advanced vocabulary for a certain kind of music earlier on.
I just feel like she can identify when a song has a real hook. It's amazing.
Yeah. Do you ever get inspired while dancing for a podcasting idea, a writing idea, or is it really a space apart where you kind of clear your head of all of those things?
Yeah, it definitely is a time to kind of just think about things, kind of like when you're in the shower, you definitely are processing things more. Yeah, I think it's really good for that. And I like it that when I'm working out really hard, which I actually don't do anymore, and I have a whole philosophy on that. In the past, when I've worked out really hard and like you're really pushing and it's so difficult, I just find that not enjoyable mentally for many obvious reasons, and I don't find that flow or that, you know, that I come out of it feeling amazing. I definitely think it's helpful to work out in a way that is enjoyable because then you'll come back to it.
I think that's key too. There are people who think that, like, if you don't leave a workout just completely drained, did you actually work out?
Same with work. You know, some people feel like they have to have had a hugely stressful day in order to feel like they got work done that day. And it's taken me a long time to realize that's actually not true. And that once you get to a certain point of proficiency in what you do, you just know how to do it better. And like, it shouldn't be a huge learning curve every single day.
Right.
You should feel challenged, but not like exhausted. So I don't know. I guess some people kind of like that, you know, they're failing every time, but I find that doesn't make me want to come back. And I actually do have a trainer for the weightlifting. Again, it's affordable in Mexico. It's probably not something I could afford in the US. But the reason I even go many days, not most, but like when I'm kind of just feeling low, is just because I know that he'll adapt to how I'm feeling. And I can say to him, today, can we do everything on the floor? Like, I need to be lying down. I will do weights like while lying down, but I need to be lying down today. It is a miracle I even showed up. Like, I'm just having a really tough day. And he's like, that's fine. And so for me, that is important because I just don't want to come back when I feel like, oh man, it's going to be one of those days where I feel like I'm going to throw up. That doesn't personally work for me.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
What about you? Do you like to work out hard?
That's a good question. I'd say I'm maybe somewhere in the middle. My weights trainer did tell me, you know, if you ever leave the weights room and you don't feel like you're completely depleted, like you're kind of exhausted, you're working out, but you're not likely to get stronger or build muscle.
Do you feel like as a man, there's more pressure for you to actually build muscle? Because for me, I don't feel, I mean, of course I want to build muscle, but I'm not like, man, I need to end this year looking like jacked.
Not building muscle for like just for the sake of building muscle or to show off to the other guys at the gym or something like that, but building muscle for those reasons of kind of longevity and for those reasons of just like seeing how it changes my life, even in like simple ways, like being able to like carry my kids or kind of do these things that parenting demands in the moment. And I find that the more that I lift and the more that I run, the stronger I am. And therefore, often the more capable I am in the moment with my kids and the more energy I have to kind of pay attention to them rather than just being really tired all the time, which I think would be the case otherwise. It's a good question.
No, that's good.
Can you think of a time that, like of an especially euphoric fitness memory?
I think I experienced that kind of regularly, but one time I can think of, I'm going to give a shout out to dance church. It's not a religious thing despite being called dance church.
Right.
So it was started by a professional dancer and choreographer who created a dance-based workout program that anyone can do. So you don't have to have any dance background. And a lot of it is kind of like, now we're doing our arms, like now we're playing with our elbows. You're doing that. You're in a nightclub-like setting, although it's not always at night, with loud music. And then when the beat drops, it's like free dance and everyone kind of just rocks out for, 2 bars of the song or whatever. And then they come back and then they do another exercise. And the first time I did that in Seattle, I definitely had a euphoric experience. And I think probably every time I've done dance church, I have had that. It was in a big ballroom. It was at maybe 10 a.m. on a Sunday. So I had energy and, you're not allowed to talk, which again, I love. People are like hooting and hollering and kind of like having fun. And you feel like you're at the club, but you really get a full body workout and it's fun during it and it's fun afterward when you have the exercise high. That's my thing is like, I get the whole like punishing workout and then you have the exercise high afterward, but why not have it during it too? Like,
Right.
Maya, we like to end on a lightning round, so we have some lightning questions for you.
Okay.
Our first question is cardio or strength training?
Strength. Oh, wait, sorry. When you said cardio, I, for some reason, immediately thought of like cardio in the gym, which is why I said strength, but I obviously like the cardio of dance. So
Nice. So cardio.
Yeah, I mean, asterisks.
Yeah.
It's cardio, but nothing that you would do in a gym.
Protein shake or protein bar?
Neither. I don't really do the shakes or bars. In general, what I try to do is just eat protein with every meal.
Cottage cheese or Greek yogurt?
Greek yogurt.
Sauna or cold plunge?
Sauna, but I do like a cold plunge. I'm a very new adopter of the cold plunge. I'm into it. I want to become more of a cold plunge person.
Right in the morning or in the afternoon?
Mid-morning.
Swim in the ocean or swim in a pool?
It's tough because I love both. I guess I would say ocean.
Would you rather meet your artistic hero or your athletic hero?
Maybe artistic.
Maya, thanks so much for joining us today. It's been such a pleasure. And hey, come to Austin at Halloween and help lead the flash mob.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. Thank you so much for having me.
Amazing. Thanks. Join us next time as we talk to playwright and radio host Lisa B. Thompson about her love of Peloton, how meditation changed her attitude towards commuting, and how music fuels her Sunday walks. See you then. Secretly Sporty was created and is produced by Sebastian Langdell and Austin Rackless. It's hosted by me, Sebastian Langdell, edited by Austin Rackless and Andy Rattinger. Our music is composed by Catherine Joy. Cover art by Ben Wiseman, represented by Illustration Division, Inc. This outro song you're listening to right now is Andy Bell by Pocket Radio, featuring Spencer Tweedy, drum prints. Special thanks to Liam Billingham. Please note that we are not medical professionals nor personal trainers. Not all exercises are suitable for everyone. Always consult a doctor before starting any new exercise routine or nutritional program. The views expressed in this show are those of the show's creators or the guests, and not those of any other entity or institution.